If you look up the definition of the word willingness in the dictionary, you'll find it defined as the state of being ready or prepared to do something. Which begs the question, how do you know if you're in the state of being ready and prepared? I mean, think about it. Have you ever felt ready and prepared for something only to discover that you weren't? On the flip side, have you ever felt like you weren't ready or prepared to do something only to discover that you were? It's like the story of the man facing his amends who tells his sponsor, I'm never making amends to this asshole. And the sponsor says, well, would you do it for $1 million? And the guy says, well, of course I would. And the sponsor says, well, all right then. You're willing. It's just a question of how willing. Now, did the sponsor snap his fingers and make his sponsee magically willing to make amends all of a sudden? No. He simply helped this individual search their heart to determine their own level of willingness. In much the same way, the authors of Alcoholics Anonymous offer us a convenient way for us to determine if we have the same type of willingness required in step 6. There's two questions we can ask ourselves. Are we now ready to let God remove from us all the things which we have admitted are objectionable? And can He now take them all, every one? So ask yourself these two questions and search your heart for the answer. And if it looks like you are prepared and ready, then great, congratulations. But what if you're not? What if you discover that you aren't willing? You can't just snap your fingers and poof, you're suddenly ready and prepared. Well, there's good news and there's bad news. In my experience, there are two sources of willingness. And the first source of willingness is the good news. Willingness can come from prayer. The authors of Alcoholics Anonymous encourage us to ask God to help us be willing, and later they state if we haven't the will to do this, then we ask until it comes. I remember telling my sponsor, I'm not willing. And he said, pray for the willingness. And I said, I'm not willing to do that. And he said, well, pray for the willingness to pray for the willingness. And I said, well, I'm not willing to do that. And he said, well, pray for the willingness to pray for the willingness to pray for the willingness. And I said, well, I'm not, forget it. I see where this is going. But now for the bad news. The second source of willingness is pain. If you don't become willing to take action through prayer, then your only chance to become willing is through pain. Assuming your stubbornness and arrogance don't kill you first. The point is, you can kneel in humility and prayer or buckle under defeat and despair. But either way, you will be brought to your knees. This reminds me of something I once heard a pastor say. Humility is God's plan A. Humiliation is God's plan B. Which path is yours going to be? And if no one's told you they love you today, let me be the first. Be well, and God bless.